What the fuck is up, you buttercups? It's your boy, Penny Skiness, and it's finally happened. TikTok has been banned in the United States. If you were to try to open TikTok right now, you would get an error that says, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the US. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. Please stay tuned. And it gives you the option to download your data. Now we're going to go over this. We're going to look at what exactly is going on here, how we got to this point, and what happens from here. But first, a little background. Now, as most people know, TikTok is a social media app with a focus on short form content. The idea was very similar to Vine, that app from middle school that Jack Dorsey took behind the woodshed and fucking capped. Over the years, TikTok has really grown out from what it started as. It has long form content now, live streaming, an in-app shop, and ways for creators to make money. TikTok had over 170 million users in the United States, all of whose phones got a notification last night saying the app is banned. Now, to understand how it was banned, we have to go all the way back to last March. Congress passed a bill, HR 7521, the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. Quite the mouthful. Now, the ban didn't actually ban TikTok from doing business in the United States, nor did it ban anyone from using the app. What it specifically bans is the distribution of TikTok in the USA. Effectively, what this meant is that the Apple App Store and Google Play Store have to take down TikTok, or they could be fined up to $500 per person using the application, which would be almost $1 billion. There was a lot of speculation about what was actually going to happen to TikTok for users on June 19th, which was the day this bill would go into effect. And you had everyone across TikTok saying, don't worry guys, TikTok will still be on your phones and will still work. It'll just slowly degrade over time because it won't get updates. But they were all speaking too soon because there was still a court case fighting the ban that hadn't been ruled on yet. See, TikTok sued to block the ban, claiming it was unconstitutional. They were able to petition it up to the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land, whose ruling sets precedent for future laws. On Friday, they finally ruled unanimously that the ban on TikTok does not violate the constitutional right to freedom of speech. And in reality, it doesn't. Freedom of speech means you have the freedom to say whatever you want to say without the government punishing you for it. There are limitations even in that, but nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have a right to use TikTok to say what you want to say. So anyone you hear trying to make this a free speech argument probably doesn't actually care about free speech enough to know what it is. They're just upset that their brain rot app got banned. But after the ruling upholding the ban came down, TikTok put out a statement saying that they'd be shutting down service in the US effective January 19th. That means instead of the app still working on your phone, still working on the browser, they plan to shut it down completely, which is what they did last night. Now, me personally, I'm not a big fan of TikTok. I think it is a net negative on society. It is full of unchecked bad information. It's been giving girls mental illness, and last year people were jizzing over Osama bin Laden's letter to America, justifying 9/11. I'm also biased against TikTok. I made an account back in 2021, specifically to promote my YouTube channel by posting clips from my long form content, and a lot of these did pretty well. I have something like 10 million views on TikTok, and I think the most followers I ever had was like 40,000, but I never cared about the platform itself because I didn't care about short form content. I cared about making long form videos on YouTube, and I just wanted to convert TikTok followers into YouTube subscribers, and to a degree it was effective. But the issue is TikTok is way too fucking sensitive and would take down my videos all the time. I cannot even tell you how many times I got a community violation because they didn't like my shorts. In one clip where I was explaining how not to get scammed by a scam bot, TikTok took it down for promoting scams and didn't let me appeal it. Literally, the last TikTok I posted got muted. But my hatred for the platform aside, who is responsible for the app being banned? Well, the answer is Congress. The bill was bipartisanly supported. That's because TikTok actually does pose a pretty big national security threat. China is not a friendly government. A lot of their technologies have been banned in the US for a very long time, for multiple reasons, but the main one being national security reasons. The US has banned Chinese Huawei phones from being imported, because since the company making them is Chinese, they could easily be subject to the Chinese government, which lacks the privacy laws that we have in the US, and which lacks the freedom of speech we have. You can be jailed for political speech in China, which brings us to another issue. When everyone started realizing TikTok was about to be banned, a lot of people moved to another Chinese app called RedNote. It is also a Chinese-owned social media app, but its target demographic is Chinese people instead of Americans. TikTok users moving to this app are doing so in some sort of protest against the government's ban of the app. Now, the problem with this framing is that both TikTok and RedNote are owned by Chinese companies, but one of them is made for US users and is banned in China, and the other one is not. meaning RedNote has way stricter content policies than TikTok. You cannot talk about politics, you cannot talk about sexuality. There are a host of topics you're not allowed to talk about on this app. Because guess what? You don't have freedom of speech in China. So if the app is catering to a Chinese audience, that means it has to be accepted by the Chinese government as well. Now, while moving to RedNote is a stupid idea, it technically worked because this law specifically targets ByteDance and ByteDance companies, which also, fun fact, includes CapCut, one of the most popular video editing softwares as of late due to its ease of use and accessibility. I haven't really used it much myself because I'm a Premiere Pro girly, but from what I tested, Premiere Pro could learn a thing or two from CapCut's captioning system. If you have CapCut installed on your PC, it will still work, but if you have it on your phone and if you try to go download it, you're not going to be able to. So an unexpected consequence of this ban going into effect is that not only is the social media site down, but content across platforms is probably going to decrease as well, since one of the most accessible editing apps has also been removed. Now, looking back at the notification TikTok gives you when you open the app, what do they mean by President Trump helping to reinstate TikTok? Well, if you're a US citizen, you probably also know Trump won the presidential election back in November, and as of today is the president-elect. On Monday, he will be the president, and in this TikTok ban bill, there is a provision that allows for the president to put a hold on banning the app to negotiate a deal to divest from its Chinese ownership. Now, if we look back at 2020, Trump actually wrote an executive order to ban TikTok, not because he wanted it to actually be banned, but to use as leverage to force TikTok to move US user data to the United States. And he actually signed a pretty successful deal with Oracle and Walmart to move TikTok's cloud services to the US, which would have meant any national security concerns were handled and TikTok would be taxable by the US government, bringing in revenue. However, Trump lost the 2020 election, so that deal fell through. Now, here's the problem right now. Trump is not president yet. He's not president until Monday, but the ban goes into effect one day before he's president. So TikTok was forced to shut itself down. But the CEO of TikTok is pretty confident that Trump is going to help keep the company alive in the US. And Trump has said that he will most likely give them a 90-day leniency period to negotiate a deal. So while TikTok's fate is still not certain, we do not know for a fact if it's coming back or not. There is a good chance that a deal will be agreed upon. Trump likes to pride himself on being the deal maker. What's a bigger W than half the country being allowed back on a platform that they like because of him? And if a deal is met, it'll probably get rid of all the safety concerns that the government has about TikTok, which means we won't have this issue ever again. And hopefully you fucking gooners will get back to watching your thirst traps and your absolute brain rot pretty soon here. And if there are any changes, I'll make an update video. If you thought this video was informative, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and have a good day.